Hi, I'm Clever Ghoul, but you can call me Nikki, and this week we're making some Croc charms. If you've been on TikTok in the last 3 months, you know that right now there is a shoe that is trending, that is all over the place, people are buying them up, num 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 num, and that is the Croc Mega Crush platform. This isn't sponsored, by the way. Now, when I first saw this, I wanted it immediately, just like everyone else, but I waited and waited, and then they sold out, and it was I was so upset because I really wanted this sandal, and I wanted to make it like a little goth, have like a little spiky chain, alt girl kind of look to it, and I just really wanted it, and I thought it was never gonna happen. But then they restocked. And I ordered some, and now, ever since Crocs first became popular, I was like, never, you will never catch me in a Croc. I've changed my ways. And now I get it. Now that I've tried them on, they are the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn easily, and I just want to wear them all the time, and sign me up. I'm now part of the cult. So basically, these are the Crocs I'm talking about. Now mine, I put a little chain on them here. So this kind of hangs over my foot when I wear them, but they have little spikes and they're just so cute. Now, as much as I was anticipating loving these Crocs, I was not anticipating how much I would get sucked in and want to have all of the charms, or gibbets, I think they're called. And I kept looking at the site and was like, do I get this gibbet? Do I get that? But they were kind of pricey. And then I went on Etsy, and there's so many cute ones on Etsy. But again, your girl is cheap. So after looking at all the charms on the website, I realized that we could make our own. We got Croc charms at home, girl. So that's what I did this week. This is the easiest craft. Literally, all you need are these charm button bases. You can get them on Amazon. I'll link below which ones I purchased, but you just need those. You need some E6000, and then whatever you want to glue on top. Now, you could do so many things. You could use polymer clay and sculpt something and bake it and then attach that. You could take resin and pour it into a mold, mix it up somehow, and make little charms that way. But I decided to be super simple this week and use what I had around the house. So that means I used flat back rhinestones and gems. I used googly eyes. I used some miniature items that I had. So let's get into it. The first charm I wanted to make was a googly eye, so I took a googly eye, put some E6000 on it, and attached it to the base of the charm. Now, working with the charm bases, there's two sides. There's a smaller side and a larger side. You want the larger side to be the one that goes inside of the shoe into the Croc so that it really anchors there and you don't lose your charm. Because if you put the smaller one inside, it has more chance of falling out, and then you lose your charm, and then that would just be really very sad. So I attached this googly eye with the E6000, I made 2 of them, and then I set them aside for a little bit before I started working on my next charm. Next, I went through my flat gems. I picked out different ones that were large enough so that you wouldn't really see the base. My Crocs, like I showed you, are black, so if the base shows up, it's not a total deal breaker, but I wanted to use gems that were mostly covering the base, which is why I chose the gems I chose. I chose a whole variety of colors because why not? You never know, you might want to mix it up. So I basically just kept doing the same thing. E6000 on the rhinestone, onto the charm base, let it sit for a day. Next, I went through some of my miniature items like I had mentioned, and I had these candy corns that were on wires, and I also had this jack-o'-lantern with a witch's hat. Now, this jack-o'-lantern's a little heavy, and it's definitely spiky, and it's gonna sit up straight. It might not be something I wear all the time, but I had to do it. So I glued the jack-o'-lantern down, and then I cut the wire off of the candy corn and attached it with the E6000. Next, I made a mini spell book. I tried to write spell book in gold paint with a little wire on top, but it just ended up looking really funky, so in the end, I didn't use it. But I still may go back sometime and try to remake that and attach it to a charm and put it on the shoe, because how cute would a teeny tiny little spell book with real pages look? I can't get over the idea. As I was thinking of more charms to make, I found some extra charms from my charm bracelet making video, specifically this Velociraptor, which I decided to paint white on the back so it would show the illustration on top since it's clear. Once that paint dried, I sealed it with Mod Podge, and then I adhered it with E6000. Now, Mod Podge might not be the best base for this because if water or sweat gets on it, it might crack, but again, this is really kind of an experiment, so I'm not too worried about it. When I was done making all of the charms and gluing them down, I decided to let them sit for a full 24 hours before even picking them up and checking them out, and they've all adhered really nicely, so I'm excited to put them on the shoe. But there was something missing, and I decided to go to Michael's and see if there was something I could do. When I went, look at all these beautiful beads that they have in store. These ones that look like little eraser fruits. I died. They look like things from my childhood, and I wanted all of them, and they might make good charms, but they're just a little bit too small for that base, and I didn't want that to show through, so I decided to pass on those. What I did find, however, were some rainbow plastic chain links, and those had to come home with me immediately. The chains are really easy to put together. You just take two of the openings and press them together, and they just end up linking. I laid out the chain that I currently have on my Crocs, and then laid out the colors that I wanted. I knew I wanted kind of a random pattern using these colors, the clear yellow, pink, and purple, and blue. I wanted to use all of those. So I kind of just laid them out and went about putting them together. It's meant to look random, but each color was intentionally put where it is because I just liked them that way. And once I made the chains, I realized they weren't quite long enough because this was a different kind of chain link than the chains I currently have. So I added some more color to it, and then I added some jump rings, and then realized I was not sure how I was going to attach these to the shoe. I looked at the attaching hardware on the chain I have, and it's kind of an S hook, and the closest thing I have to that is an ornament hook. So I went digging through my Christmas storage, pulled out some ornament hooks, and got going to attaching those. It wasn't the best option, frankly, and I think I'm gonna have to redo them in the future, but for now, it works. So that's pretty much it. Again, you just need E6000 and these charm backings and whatever you want to glue on top, and you're good to go. You could even buy buttons and put them on top. Could use old pins and cut the pin back off and glue that on top of these. You could do anything. There are truly endless options with this. Anyway, like I said, super quick, super easy, which means it's time for the reveal. So here they are. I'm really thrilled with how they came out. I can't believe how dusty these Crocs look. I just wiped them down with a white washcloth before I did this, and it left lint everywhere, so please don't judge me. Anyway, I love how these turned out, and I have a feeling I'm going to be making more charms in the very near future. I definitely have to fix the chains. I think I need to add a thin layer of hot glue on the plastic link openings at the end of each chain so the jump rings stay on. And I want to find or make a better S-hook to attach them to the shoes. One more thing I should mention. Exercise caution when removing the charms. You can't be rough with them like the ones you get at the store. Hold the top of the charm with one hand and with the other gently wiggle and push the bottom of the charm base out through the top of the hole. If you're too forceful, you could accidentally pop the charm off of the base, and I definitely did that when testing this out. So that's just my advice. What kind of Croc charms would you make? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at cleverghoul.yt. See you next week!